Vodafone presents the pre-match.
We're now halfway through our day here at the ESL Pro League North America, day 2, and also halfway through our matchup between NRG and compLexity. NRG took a fairly close win there on Nuke. I thought actually they would probably close that map out a little bit quicker than what they did, but compLexity showed some heart and managed to bring it back to a fairly reasonable scoreline. But in the end, reasonable scoreline doesn't net you any points on the board, unfortunately, for compLexity. So now we're moving on to map 2, Cache, their choice, and a map that really not necessarily is a must-win for them, but at least to kind of finish off the week on a good note, they would love to get a map win here.
Yeah, at the very least, to close off with something as opposed to nothing, because no one wants to go down 0-4 in terms of the opening match day where you're playing a lot of matches and you go, all right, we just got pumped in pretty much consecutive matches, didn't even have a space to really think about what we need to be improving on or what we need to be doing. It's literally all the matches we've been playing on today for compLexity have been different, and that's always a hard thing to be doing, in all honesty.
Yeah, and the world is going to be watching here, Kevin, in this final map as they will try to close it out over NRG. And you too could be watching this one, Kevin, if you pick up, I don't know, something like an i7.
I thought I'm watching it already.
Game, record, and stream without compromise. And right now, that's what we're doing. Well, we're kind of recording and streaming. We're not really gaming. But anyway, you can do all of that with some nice i7s and stuff. I have an i7 at home. Anyway, doesn't really matter too much. But all in all, it's an important match for both of these two teams. Early days, like at this point, no matches you can really say very important. I suppose if you were, for example, Team Liquid and you were losing a match to whatever the lowest ranked team would be this season, I don't know who that might be in the end. Let's say E United for argument's sake, because they had a pretty unfortunate performance
That's
yesterday.
slack. We haven't even seen what E United have.
I know, but I had to pull a name out of the hat, right? And you would expect that they would be one of the teams toward the bottom of the standings. I think that's fair to say.
Jordan, we just talked about this in the back, all right? We're saying we're not angering any organizations, and you've already done it.
I'm trying.
You've already thrown E United in the bin without giving them a chance.
The blue and red wall on me or something, I don't know. Anyway, Betway odds here. Leaning toward the side of NRG, which is probably to be expected once again. They're not a bad Cache team at all. Recent results do favour NRG on that map as well in this one up against compLexity. But all in all, I think another map that could potentially go either way if compLexity can step up like we saw toward the end of Nuke. Shazam, again, we keep an eye on him with the AWP. He was fairly consistent, I thought, there across Nuke. But again, nothing too flashy, nothing too amazing, nothing that's going to carry the game through. And no one else really stood up alongside that either for compLexity. There was some good moments from Stanislaw, but just nothing that really set the world on fire and nothing that was going to put compLexity over the line.
The problem so far is compLexity have never truly been in the lead at the half or at any stage of the game to really, outside of, I think, Dust 2, where they were ahead, they really haven't been in a situation where they've been able to dispatch of their opponent in terms of with ease or with a killer instinct just yet. They haven't been able to get themselves there. It's going to be different this time around because it's just a massive fight over at the B bomb site, which is heads popping off.
It's gone the way of compLexity. And Stanislaw, very sharp, does manage to dispatch of Breezy. Daps knows there is one player on the bomb site, so he's got that to deal with. He's got the players in B halls to deal with. And Stanislaw, so clean and easy. The headshot onto Daps. Another pistol will go the way of compLexity. NRG, let's have a look and see if the buy does come through. Pistol and flash for Daps.
I think we're going to see a little bit more errors coming in through their gameplays now. It has been a long day for both of these teams, the 4th official match, so this is not accounting anything else that might have been doing earlier in the day. I feel like, is all going to boil down towards the aim deals right now, as well as how well a team is going to group together and how well they're going to trade out. You can see their compLexity just going straight in. It was just two sides running at each other, and it was something out of American football.
Well, that's where we are at the moment, North America. Not us specifically, but you get the idea. No investment really from NRG. I mean, I say no. They've gone for some pistols, but no huge investment. Breezy just going to be playing anti-flash here on the B site. So it is a bit of a B stack for NRG. compLexity will not want to be falling into that trap, and so far they have not. Having a look into mid, having a look into A main, creeping up toward the A bomb site now, compLexity. So they've figured things out, or they will shortly figure things out. And NRG, for their own right, this stack not going to pay off, but at least what it will do is in theory, allow most of the guns through for NRG in the next round. In which case, they should have another opportunity to stack a site or do something with those pistols to cause a bit of havoc for compLexity before they do end up getting onto the guns. That's assuming Shazam doesn't manage to deal with multiple NRG players himself.
But he's got the AK-47 and he's isolated. This is sometimes the worst case scenario to be in. Either you're going to see a massive kill feed coming out for Shazam, or he's just going to drop the AK, and then it's like the scene from Finding Nemo, right? You've got a bunch of seagulls going, mine. You can see right now, NRG, all swung in together. They're like the seagulls.
Someone has to go collect that AK, though, and it is going to be Cirque. Not going to be too easy to retrieve. Stanislaw's watching the angle, but Cirque has managed to grab it. So that's an upgrade for him, assuming that he can get through the round. Another gun was lost for compLexity as well, and Ye pushing on forward. Just an easy one tap there for Daps. Ye was quite heavily tagged up, so there'll be an MP5 over there for Daps as well. Nice little round out for NRG.
Yeah, I wouldn't complain about that if I was NRG, getting at least a bit of damage, getting an AK in our hands, and then making compLexity rebuy.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, just some odd things happening from compLexity. Leaving AKs isolated by themselves, I've just always disagreed with. I always believe they should be supported by SMGs and kind of assist in terms of this early game to make sure that the SMGs have an easier time against long-range opponents.
Yeah, well, Def did have an SMG, so if anyone was going to be alone toward the B site, you would have assumed that it would be him. Not going to be the case. Ethan now with the opportunity to stand up tall. The AK going to work. Shazam drops early on in the piece. Flashbang avoided by Ethan. He knows there's players close, and players by default, but so far hasn't managed to connect any of the shots. Eventually will go down to Ye. So just the one. And I think he tried to force the issue a little bit too much there. Could have waited for the teammates to come across, but was trying to take those aim duels on his own, and in the end, compLexity do get the bomb down. The AK hasn't done too much damage. And also, it's irretrievable.
Yeah, it's out in the open at this stage, and now it's this is where the AK is coming supreme, right? Because if Def had an MP5, good luck getting those kills. But AK-47, able to control the corridors. I think they're hoping for the bomb explosion to push it back in their favor is Cirque.
Cirque's been good with the Deagle so far.
Cirque's just been good.
Very good.
Let's see how physics works. Physics has gone in the favor of Ye. It's gone in the favor of Ye.
So Daps threw away the MP5 to try and get the AK. I guess fair enough, whatever. Probably don't want the MP5 in this situation anyway. Double AWP for NRG. I did see Ethan saving earlier on. Didn't buy some armor when the rest of his team did, or didn't buy a pistol or something.
Oh, he's got a lot of money to work with, so why not at this stage? Very interesting flashbang. But otherwise, slow, methodical default take coming out as Depth jump spotting up, has spotted out Cirque, so he knows what's up. He knows what he's doing.
Bit of mid-presence for NRG. Smoke to go down. Shazam takes the timing shot, but it won't work out for him. compLexity don't have too much map control at the moment. Fugly has got quite a significant amount, however, on that CT side, and will continue to push on up. He's been spotted, and he's just forced back by Def. A little bit of a tickle of damage. There's another one for Shazam.
Stanislaw's pretty close to highway though, and Ethan has the AWP trained up. Yeah, he's going to be boosted up, and this is an off angle that sometimes teams don't expect. This time around though, Ethan's watching the lowdown. Daps also making sure Android can't exit out of Squeaky, and this is looking much cleaner from NRG at this stage, and Ye, I mean, he is coming up from a critical position, but time is dwindling away right now where he's just trying to look to do as much damage as possible. Sam was just isolated. Unfortunately, too many fire grenades in his way between helping his teammate. I mean, is this just going to save the AWP? NRG keeping 4 rifles forward. Double AWP still alive alongside with 2 AK-47s as they manage to pick up the first round of this half.
And a good round to win as well. They'll be able to keep the double AWP through. Also upgrade to a couple of AKs. Overall, a very positive start for NRG in the first gun round. compLexity, obviously they're up 3-1, but that's off the back of the pistol, so you've got to keep that into context. They will be able to buy through again here, but this will be their last if they lose it. Same could be said for NRG, of course. Does put themselves in a really nice position early on in the piece here on Cache. Shazam immediately going to take up the line toward B. Cirque on the other side, so a bit of a stalemate there. It looks like NRG going to have something happening here toward the B side in a moment.
That said, compLexity, just looking to see what other opportunities or other options they have. I mean, initial look at the menu, they decided B looked pretty good, but having a second thought about it now, maybe the other main on A is also pretty solid. Always a difficult decision. Just a timing flash coming in from NRG is able to get them a bit of information. At least a bit more to work around with for the CT side, who have already lost so much map territory very early on. Stanislaw, though. Dabs pushing around the corner. Catches Stanislaw off timing.
Yeah, timing almost there for Stanislaw. You could see he started to move, but he just couldn't get around in time. And Cirque looked like he was going to hit that shot through the flashbang, but inevitably does go down. Daps has dropped here as well. That's a great shot, however, from Ethan. And Fugly is still unspotted and untouched on this site. Such a menace sitting behind that smoke. It was going to always be tough for compLexity to get in there when Fugly was alive. And that's the second gun round the way of NRG. Eco to come here for compLexity already. We are starting to see NRG look like a little bit of a stronger side here on Cache.
To be fair, compLexity haven't really ran a really fast strat, which generally counts as a double AWP setup. So you fake once and then you go in all together en masse and try to close the territory. But otherwise, the economy for the CTs isn't insanely built up just yet either. So it's not as if they're steaming away in terms of NRG.
Decent enough start for NRG in the round, and a decent enough finish by the looks of things as well, as they won't drop a single gun. That's perfect. Double AWP persists along through. Fugly with the MP5. Let's see if he decides to upgrade here. Perhaps he'll decide not to. Things have been going pretty cruisy so far for NRG, so you could understand why he feels like he doesn't need to upgrade to an M4.
I mean, he can just play checkers or close beam main as well,
Yeah.
just supporting that AWP in the hands of Cirque, depending on how it goes. Otherwise, so far, standard progression play coming out from both sides, with Cirque looking to gain some extra territory in the back of this AWP. Can't say I don't disagree, but that's a juicy pineapple coming out from mid. That's actually putting a lot of them in the headshot range for the M4.
Yeah, and Cirque is getting a lot of positioning now. Def doesn't have an AWP of his own, so AK versus AWP in a duel like that, you always have to favor the AWP. And it's the opening that NRG would have liked. However, Daps will drop in mid, so compLexity have a part of the map that now will allow them to work around in toward B, in toward A. The split is possible. At the moment, looking like it's going to be a B site hit, but with Cirque posted up on this line, always tough for compLexity, especially if you're going to peek like that. One by one around the corner. Cirque is just going to shut you down. Fugly gets Stanislaw in the vent in the meanwhile. And it's just Shazam. Around has fallen by the wayside once again here for compLexity. Shazam is going to be making a lot of noise into mid. Ethan, this time, chiming in with the AWP of his own. 4 kills to the AWPs that round for NRG. This double AWP is working out perfectly.
Yeah, I mean, NRG just using the AWPs just to probe in a little bit. You've got Ethan, who's holding default in A and Cirque. He's very confident at this stage, just pushing in. Hasn't been punished for it just yet. And compLexity, at that stage, they're trying to split, but Fugly's covering off Cirque's 6th position. And what else can you say about that? Imagine as an AWPer, you only have to be worrying about one thing, and you've got a brother in Fugly who's making sure that no one's going to come and backstab you. Such a good thing they have, but this is probably complexity's best chance at the moment. 5 people are going to go on the A bomb site in the back of these smokes. You can isolate Ethan's AWP quite easily and actually pincer him off with the pistols, then take the AWP for the retake. Daps needs to head over to that A bomb site to help them immediately, otherwise there's going to be big trouble coming up.
We shall see. Breezy in the one and done position. What's so commonly told as a one and done position, but how often do you see multiple frags from there? compLexity having a look in. Breezy's fully flashed out. Daps does go down straight away. 1 for 1, not good enough. And Android smashes Breezy as well. The Deagle going to work here for compLexity. It was looking like it was falling by the wayside a little bit for compLexity, but that is all done and dusted now. NRG have capitulated on the A site. compLexity have absolutely made that round work. Now Ethan trying to salvage things. But how much can he do as a lone man trying to retake an A bomb site? He's got the AWP to save it. We'll have to back off here eventually.
Android, 3 Deagle kills in that round. That was what I was talking about, is that double AWP, it looks really strong when they're allowed to get in position, when they're allowed to take this map control, but compLexity, when they go in quickly and just close off this space, you can't do anything. You can see Ethan's AWP was effectively useless in that round, and an A bomb site, maybe that's going to be the calling card right now for compLexity. They're going, hang on a moment, A was pretty easy, we had pistols. I mean, sure, Android was blasting heads off with a Deagle, but maybe we can do that with the AKs again. Double AWP steal for NRG, though.
Yeah, so 4 for 1, or 3 for 1, I guess, as far as the gun rounds are concerned so far. NRG with the better of it. compLexity again, slowing things down here on the T side. This time they have the AWP to work with. The boost there for Shazam does not result in anything. It's a triple stack toward B for NRG right now. One of the players in Vent, most likely. I think it might be Daps. But a lot of presence on that side of the map. So if a player even drops here in mid or on the A site, compLexity, if they read that, can just charge onto A with a huge numbers advantage. Cirque will get 1. He was out of position. Fugly now, maybe his position known based on that smoke. Def so sneaky.
This is so good at the moment because he knows that now with that kill he's drawn the rotation, the rest of his players can actually just go over to the A bomb site instead, and there's only going to be one there. It's going to be Breezy. Big ask for him. He's going to drop the incendiary grenade. He has to go fight it, but Android has been the difference so far in these last 2 rounds.
Ooh. Yeah, Android is certainly on point here. In the last couple of rounds, the Deagle, and then that one, pretty important aim duel to win. Shazam gets dropped low, but all in all, compLexity are going to be happy with this round. Very happy with this round, in fact, as it might even be enough to reset the economy of NRG. It depends how hard they're able to hunt down these 2 AWPs. If the 2 AWPs persist through for that CT side, they will be able to buy behind it. Fugly and Breezy have enough. Fugly can drop. Breezy will be by himself, but
don't think you can really hunt on the side of compLexity at this stage. Your members are too low, and
your money's not really good enough.
Yeah, exactly. It's not as if you're ahead by a huge margin at this stage. You know it's going to be big denying the double AWP, but so many positions that these double AWPs can be sitting in, so perilous to be going in with that utility, and just hoping your opponent misses isn't the best option. So I like what they did on the side of compLexity. And I like now the work that Def is doing on that B bomb site as well. Just being a nuisance in terms of being that anchor, getting damage done, pushing the CTs back, and just making sure that compLexity are over-rotating into an empty bomb site.
Well, nice little bit of damage early on in the piece there from Daps. Not that he is aware of it. Mid control again for compLexity. Great entry. Android every single time for compLexity is the one that's being the difference maker. But how long will that persist? We saw against Renegades, Yay doing something fairly similar. Def now stepping up alongside Android, however. That's the critical thing for compLexity, I think, that we haven't seen so far today. It's always been one, but not the other. Now 2 players doing good work for compLexity. Might be enough to wrangle control of this map away from NRG. Ethan, though, with the AWP on the site. Ye hasn't been able to do anything about that. I'm not sure if he was flashed or something, but Ethan survives, now flashed out, and eventually will drop to Shazam, but Cirque in a 1v1. He knows that Def is low. He knows that he is close, but he does not know where Def is anymore.
Don't think he knows that Def is this low. And Def, oh, that is quick from Cirque. Once again, Def was trying to transition out to reset the situation and maybe play the round from there, but that was all down to Ethan getting those shots down. 14 kills at the moment. He's been absolutely influential on this A-bomb site when he's been able to get the opportunity to do so. I have to say, compLexity really squandered that massive chance. It's going missing.
Yeah, back to 5 apiece. Again, though, money's still not great on the CT side. So they let one chance go, but another chance has presented itself here for compLexity. The chance to reset the CT economy. And that is not a bad start. Dabs was in a position to cause some problems, but Shazam turns around just in time. And on this B-bomb site, not too many defenders. Now none in A, or, well, none in A. I went mid, but there's also none in A. And Cirque now watching from the truck position, misses the shot. Smoke blooms, and he'll deny the bomb cross, but it falls favorably for Shazam. Oh my goodness.
You want to cover that, lads, on compLexity? Because Cirque, he is...
Yeah, that's an error from compLexity.
Yep. That is really risky. They weren't expecting him to push out, and Cirque venturing a little bit too far this time. Yeah, he's gonna at least clean up the circus.
Well, you could see the idea there for Cirque. He knew that the bomb was being planted.
Oh,
he wanted
100%.
To take the one
he had to. Like, what Cirque was doing is, you got to be doing that, right? Because, okay, 2-on-3, if you don't go and make that play, then the bomb gets planted down. All the Ts are able to go around and just do whatever they want. But by taking that bomb duel, at least you have an opportunity to try to take the round from there. And NRG don't manage to take it, but they gave themselves a fighting chance from a disadvantageous situation. Those are the risks that you need to be making. Cirque managed to make it look too easy, managed to make it work out, but compLexity still have the lead for now. They managed to, I think, finally reset NRG.
Well, have they? Because NRG taking a tactical pause right now leads me to believe that they might be discussing any kind of a purchase. I'm not sure exactly what kind of money NRG is at. We have to have a look when we get back in. Pretty sure that the T economy is not doing too poorly, however. Well, it's not amazing. It will just be the pistol armor investment from NRG. Nothing too crazy there.
Which is fine, because I think they want to go for the double AWP. So, yeah, pistol armor here. Complete stack on the A-bomb site, which is... We'll have to see how it goes off at the end of the day. A few flashbangs to get this A main control, but you can see Android goes, yep, I'm in, I'm out, bye.
Yeah, compLexity once again headed toward the correct bomb site. When NRG have stacked B, they've gone A, and now that NRG have stacked A, they're going B. Just not seeing anything at the moment from NRG. So compLexity are feeling quite safe on this B site now. And it's just a matter of time before that bomb does go down.
I wonder if NRG will be going into this. They do have some utility, so they can at least have a good crack on the retake if they were in the position to do so, but saving's also a valuable option. They don't have enough money to buy in the next round. Just keep whatever pistols that you have. Hunt any overzealous compLexity people trying to hunt you. I don't think anyone outside of Stanislaus should be hunting down. And there you have it. That should be compLexity just going to go save right now.
Yeah, NRG do get out of it with an MP5. Unlikely to have much of an impact, but next round NRG should not be able to buy either. So it's good of them to be able to keep these guns through. Fugly in the end is going to be the one that's given the MP5. And behind this kind of a buy for NRG, it is not a bad idea to just have that MP5.
What are these
around.
things meant to be?
Engines, I would say.
That's not what an engine looks like, I'm fairly certain.
No, but that's what a blocky rendition of an engine looks like.
Ugh. NRG is still going to be having whatever they had from the previous round. No one dropped down at the end of the day after all, but for compLexity, Going to continue and try to take this A main control now. Alongside with NRG, looking to fight it out. They've got one boosted up. That's going to be that silenced MP5 on Fugly. And Breezy.
Oh, wow. Oh, he's on the light. Oh, no. Ethan's managed to find two. How on earth has that happened? He is on fire this map. Breezy does get spotted up on the light, but they still have not spotted Fugly. And Ethan spamming away through the smoke is going to get another one. That's all gone wrong for compLexity. You get the guy on the boost, and then you don't think that there's going to be another guy on another boost.
I think what went wrong, right? There was this guy named Ethan. Now, he spelled it backwards. Classic 1.6 style, right? And he's just completely ruined them through smoke with a Desert Eagle.
Yeah.
And there's not much to say beyond that because he is about to drop a legitimate 20 bomb if he just continues this up. I can't believe it though. Like Cirque and Ethan are performing so well, but compLexity overall as a team-wise have been also doing very well. To be able to get 7 rounds against players fragging this hard, not easy.
But that to me is a bit of a concern actually even for compLexity, being that NRG is on the CT side. Individually speaking, sometimes it is harder to have an impact. We'll talk about that in a second. Cirque able to get just the one, but he's still alive here. Shazam shuts him down. So the B site is now in control of compLexity. Breezy had other ideas, but that's not gone too well for him.
It was worth a, once again, worth a gander to try to catch them off kilter, but...
Yeah, but my point is, right, that once NRG moves on to the T side, if Ethan is going to be able to hit entries like this, that's going to result in bomb sites for NRG, and then that's going to result in round losses for compLexity, where I think it's harder to make a difference on the CT side as an individual than it is on the T. Especially if you have to rotate across, which obviously is not always the case for NRG, but someone can be going absolutely ham, but if you put them in a 3v1 in the retake, it's still more difficult to win. But if it's a 5v5, you're entering the bomb site, you get the first 2 entries and then you die. That's much more impactful than getting 2 and then losing the retake. But compLexity are doing well right now on the T side. Let's not forget that. They're up to 8.
In the rounds they're winning, they're getting the impact kills that they need, and that's all you need at the end of the day. You don't need to be fragging superstars like Android X23. You can just play as a team unit, get the kills that you need, and get yourself across the board. Because most of them are having negative KDs, but they're still winning 9-6. Bear in mind, NRG have saved a few rounds in a row. NRG also have Ethan and Cirque that are fragging out hard, but compLexity still in the lead. Will maintain the lead in the half. The question is whether they're going to have 8 or 9, as they're going to be lining up for just a blind A-side execute.
May not work out too nicely. 3 players already here for NRG, and that is exactly what you expect out from Ethan. 2 kills from him. It'll be NRG up to 7. Shazam in a 1v3, 6 HP. Very unlikely that he's going to be able to get a whole lot done here, and indeed he'll be dropped. So NRG do end up making the half look about as good as it could. I thought for a moment that compLexity were able to, or were likely to be able to get to 9, which would have put this on a little bit more tip towards the scales of compLexity. But this is, yeah, as I said, like it's as 50-50 as it's going to get. But now moving on to the T side, I wonder if Ethan's impact is going to be more widely felt.
I mean, don't forget the fact that Cirque had huge impact in the AWP as well on the CT side, where he was able just to lock down so many corridors alongside with Ethan. Really helps when you have one CT on either side, just able to hold their position, hold firm, hold the line, make sure the enemy can't come in. But at the end of the day, compLexity still get 8. It's still important to emphasize because only one person has a positive KD. His name is Android. And you're right, coming onto the CT side, how is it going to go? I don't know, because we've seen form falter. We've seen confidence come out of nowhere. We've seen clutch rounds seemingly aligned with the stars out of nowhere.
Well, it's leaning slightly towards NRG. That's, well, the same odds as it was at the start, so nothing's changed. I guess fair enough. 8-7. You can't really draw too many conclusions from that first half. My general feeling is, though, that NRG are going to be able to get the better of this one. Turn it into that 2-0 that they would be looking for.
But for complexity, at the very least, they have the ability to try to make this into their own map as well. It's a even Stevens board as far as this 8-7 scoreline is mainly concerned with. But Ethan, once again, it's Ethan.
Just from boost all the way down to Z connected P250. Probably a one-tap. Was a headshot. His aim has been very good today. And once again, it'll net an advantage for NRG.
He is human edge shot machine.
Ethan NRG.
I mean, it's not been just the Ethan show, just for now, just yet.
But it's always fun to find these little things. Smoke's down. And Stanislaw has work to do, which he will do well. No one seems to know where he is. Eventually, Breezy will turn around and get the trade out. Daps is 1 HP. Well, 13 HP, but might as well be 1. Android with the headshot onto Breezy and finds Daps as well, despite the nice opening from Ethan. NRG have not been able to consolidate on this round, and now Fugly tasked in the 1v2, just taking the peaks against the USP. Not necessarily the greatest of ideas, but what else can you do at this point? He has to commit to this B bomb site and just hoping to find the head of one of these two CTs, but it's just not presenting itself. And eventually, Ye will shut him down. compLexity with the pistol. And NRG do not even get the bomb down.
Yeah, Stanislaw, critical 2 kills. That delays any, or that stops any checkers control coming out. And then Android pushing forward. Like I'm saying, you look at the KD. Android's the only one, but the impact kills so far in the rounds where compLexity are winning are absolutely critical. That's why their impacts, right? So, NRG, they don't get the bomb plant down. They're going to force up in this and see how they go, even after that start from Ethan.
They hope for another start like that from Ethan. This round is going to be much more difficult to win than even the last. So, Def holding close with the MP9. He's going to get
Ethan
shut down again by Ethan. But Ethan himself will drop. Bomb's been planted, though, by Cirque. It's not going to result in a round win by the looks of things here. But Daps does actually get the better of Ye. Now he's managed to cross into the site, even despite being low. He is a threat. Fugly puts Shazam down to a one-shot. Another headshot across from the CZ. Now it might all be said and done, though, for Fugly. With that smoke, he decides that it's time to back away.
So much damage, though, coming out. The dinks. Pistol control coming out as well. Brilliant stuff to see, but it's not enough. At the end of the day, they get a little bit of extra cash. Breezy has an AK. Like, what?
Looks like it's a force buy from NRG. They got the bomb down.
They're just going straight for it. Jeez. Shazam's got the AWP. I think he might be expecting it because 3 AKs out to play with. Dap's going to be the sacrificial lamb in terms of not having as much.
Well, yeah. He's got a P250 at least, but yeah, it's not too exciting for him at least. Let's see what the rest of those NRG players can do, though, with their AKs. Most certainly you want to be seeing it in the hands of Ethan.
Oh, he's got one. Oh, the rare spinning animation as Fugly is able to get the first kill on Android with the AK. Hello there. Now they know AKs are in play.
Def does get Cirque and Daps up on the boost, and quite a strong position to hold on the CT side. Lets you get a lot of info, and a lot of info he will be getting. Stanislaw again did have a good round previously from this position, and just waiting for those NRG players to rotate across, which he surely knows is occurring. Information would have been given from Def. He'll just swing out, but doesn't even need to, really, as Shazam gets rid of Breezy. Stanislaw eventually does find Fugly. 11's up for compLexity. They're starting to take control of this map now, and NRG are back onto an eco. It looked kind of like NRG was going toe-to-toe with compLexity, and maybe even in my eyes were doing a little better than compLexity at one point. But now, absolutely, it has swung back the other way, and compLexity now starting to feel like they can close this map out.
Not over just yet, though. All they need is just a single round, and that could be the difference maker at this stage, as Ethan. Gonna be giving everything to Ethan to be hitting the shot at this stage, but Shazam. He's been looking in pretty vintage form today, got to say. He's been looking pretty solid.
Yep, solid, certainly. See if he takes a peek toward the boost. Smoke's down in main, so if he was going to do it, it would be now. And he has indeed, but does not actually spot the player up there of NRG. Cirque just playing with fire, peeking out through into mid, on straight into def. Doesn't look like much is going to come from this round for NRG. Yay, cannot quite control that SMG burst enough to get the kill onto Breezy, but really, one gun loss for compLexity, no issues there. Android looking to close it out and won't quite be able to, as Breezy with the Deagle will shut him down. But look, 2 SMGs gone for compLexity. They're not going to be disappointed by that. They're not going to be concerned. Still a lot of money for compLexity, and it's just one round closer to that number 16.
Got to think that NRG, they need to start making some changes soon. Otherwise, it's going to be a situation like we saw in Nuke, where they're just not going to have any wriggle space to move around with. And as you're saying, compLexity, they do have a decent amount of cash on 2 of their members. So it's not as if one defeat means just an instant reset as well.
Again, NRG just setting up default. Waiting to see what compLexity are going to throw at them. This time it's a bit of utility, but they haven't really forced too much out of compLexity yet at all.
compLexity are playing retake B, so Android's going to keep his entire utility set for the retake. They're just going to put their eggs in containing mid and containing A. I like this from compLexity, so they're definitely stepping up at the moment. How are NRG going to respond in kind? Need to be landing some sharp headshots at the moment, but Shazam's here. Smoke's going to stop them from pushing through very easily. 2 at the forklift position as well.
That's a good start for Yay. Will they expect the second from Fork? Perhaps not. Def only able to get a 1-for-1 though. Shazam lining them up. Stanislaw is there as well. The rotation coming across very quickly for compLexity. And now Fugly again is tasked with a 1v3. We've seen this a couple of times for him, and so far he hasn't been able to make it work. Not to mention, I think the bomb is stuck on top of Red Crate, so just couldn't get any worse for him, could it? Still, he'll try and find the 1v1s. And he might just get Android for free. No more information going to present itself, but Android almost turns around. So Fugly has to now pull the trigger. He's only got 10 seconds left, so what's he even going to do here? He can't win the round anymore.
Most certainly not. Stanislaw has been on point so far with the peaks. NRG, though, another round where they get completely shut down. And it just seems like Stanislaw has really stepped it up on the CT side. Don't let those 10 kills just fool you. He had an all-right T side, I guess. I think I saw 1 or 2 rounds where he might have had a few impact kills. On the CT side, we've seen a bunch of rounds where he just won for compLexity, so can't complain about that most of the time. Now it's going to be a B-site take. Android. This is an opportunity he's been waiting for.
Bit of a hole in that smoke, but the flashbang does allow NRG to actually cross, and Android just fully flashed out time and time again. Stanislaw, however, like you mentioned, has been stepping up and does manage to knock down Daps. 4 versus 4. Breezy out onto the bomb site. Stanislaw can't get much more done, but Yay is in there to get a trade. Steph now trying to hold on to the site. It's just a chaotic fight, but in the end, it's a 2v2, and compLexity still have a player that's able to deny the plant if Shazam got a good shot across there, which he does not. Breezy shutting him down into the 1v2 now for Def. He's had a solid map so far. Let's see what he can manage in this situation. Not a whole lot. Always tough to be coming out like that. But around for NRG.
That's really unfortunate because I was about to say that Android wouldn't have been flashed on that peak if Stanislaw... I think Stanislaw must have missed time his flash, or Android peaked a little bit too early because he was completely blind to his own teammates' pop flash. And you could see how it could have been the other way around completely. Like, at the end of the day, a blip in the road, you'd say, for compLexity, but we'll have to see if NRG can string 2 in a row. They've got a lot of territory towards B already, and there's no one really stopping them from taking it right now as well.
Yeah, and if they can string 2 in a row, that is going to be enough for an economy reset for compLexity, and then NRG can start to climb their way back into this map. At the moment, they most certainly are out of it. compLexity still looking to close the map out, but chances available for NRG here. Stanislaw, nice little angle, will get rid of Fugly and also trades out his teammates. So good work on that B bomb site so far from the B defenders. Eventually, Stanislaw does get dropped, but not after finding 3 kills. And that is almost enough for NRG in this round. This flank from Def is going to be so dangerous. Shazam just needs to bide his time and wait because Def can close this round out for them, and he'll do that. 2-man spray down, 14-8, compLexity up another one.
NRG can buy into their members though, and I'd say they probably want to be investing in a few AK-47s right now because you don't want to be trying to play for overtime. I say that at the moment because it's easy to say, but I mean, they're dropping the AWP instead of anything else. Breezy's got an AK, so it's going to be Breezy and Cirque they're going to be relying on.
Whoa. Neither AWP connects. But NRG in toward the A bomb site once again fairly quickly. Def has been boosted up. And I don't think we've seen too much of this on the CT side just yet. However, Def has been spotted.
So what do you get shot by? Ethan, you can wallbang that.
Not sure.
Regardless of what it was, it does force him off the boost. And that's sick. I didn't even know that you could do that. NRG. I mean, coming up with some of the goods, but it's not winning them the round so far.
Learn something new every day. Good pick from Cirque, however, brings it back to a 4v4. Rotation starting to come in from compLexity, but will it be here fast enough? Shazam only able to find a 1. The AWP not coming too much of a problem for NRG. Stanislaw will just save this M4 if he can. Nice entry to the site from NRG. Was really Ye lining up that Molotov that gave the opening over to NRG. If he sat tight on the bomb site, 5v4, but brought it back to a 4v4. So again, compLexity find themselves in a position to close the map out, but their opponent starts to make a little bit of a comeback. Bit of a sense of deja vu here for them.
The force buy definitely works out. It's good to see. I don't know if I can find the demo after this or like whatever line that Ethan used, but that's like, you don't understand how big that is actually. Like that's actually huge in terms of you don't have to kill the person. All you need to do is put a couple of shots in and identify that, identify there is a CT boosted. And speaking about a boost, there is going to be a counter boost, but they've been tagged down quite low so far.
Daps does well. 2 from the AK, but the counter boost did actually find a kill. Shazam floating out late will be punished by Fugly. NRG will be able to get control of the B bomb site, get that bomb down. compLexity do manage to nab themselves an AK. So that is a small victory, which is all you can really hope for in a round like that.
Don't even think we can buy the next one, so another round by NRG can put some money on the board, put some chicken wings on the table. So double digits for NRG now, whereas for compLexity, another save in order to try to get those guns up. CT is going to be looking to counter boost again, but mainly a predominant stack over on the A site, and depth coming up just at the same time. But Ethan, of course it's Ethan.
That unfortunately does put Android in a precarious position, but he actually does manage to get out okay. Ethan not too interested in taking another peak. End of the day, it would have been just a USP loss for complexity, so no big deal. But now they got 4 players over on 8. They're looking to have a bit of a joust in A main. Not going to work too well against Cirque. Straightforward round for NRG, 14-11. Do we see the guns for complexity now?
Don't have the most utility though, that's the problem. Don't even know if Android's going to be able to afford to get a kit, because if he gets a kit right now, he's going to have to go missing. Is thinking about it? Nope, he's going to go for utility. So if NRG are able to get the bomb plant down, it's going to be a full 10-second defuse, which might be problematic. We'll see if it gets to that stage though or not. Squeaky control.
Again, retake set up for the B bomb site, so that's quite confident for complexity. This timing works out well for Def as he does get daps. Boost was successful in the end, but that's going to fall very quickly by the wayside. Complexity, however, going toward the B bomb side, and maybe, like you said, oh no, Stanislaw got spammed through by Ethan. Pull to 0. Just running through the garage door. Brings back to a 4v4, and like you said, no defuse kit here for complexity at all. So it is actually going to come into effect. But it depends how quickly complexity can work. Def does find Ethan, again, spamming back through the door, which brings it back in the favor of complexity here, 3v4. NRG now fighting for their survival here on Cage. A 1-for-1, not good enough. Fugly needed to get more. Someone else needs to get more, and no one will. Yay with 2 and Shazam 1. And put complexity up to 15. It will put complexity now onto map point.
Really solid retake coming out from complexity. They were able to nullify the Molotovs coming out from NRG, and Cirque just not in the best position as well. The CT's using their smokes to cover off the Checkers as well as... I don't think B-Main was covered off as much, but I think Checkers was smoked off. And they've played around it perfectly. You really love seeing that. I think complexity has definitely stepped it up for the final map that they have to play for today. You're going to see a pause coming out. Don't know exactly what it is just yet. A tactical pause.
Tactical, yeah. Well, NRG know that they're on their last life now. Like a cat with 9 lives, and you've used up 8 of them.
I thought cats had regenerating lives.
I'm not sure how it works.
You just hide behind cover and you regenerate lives. That's how it works for cats, right?
Sure.
How do you even know if a cat has lost a life?
I don't think you do. Or based on how many scars they have. Would probably be the analogy. Anyway, double AWP for complexity. Def, we already saw, was fairly solid with the AWP in the match against Renegades and earlier on here against NRG. 1 round away, complexity. No control for A main. A little bit toward mid again, however, for complexity. It's where they've put a lot of presence. This time not playing retake on B either. A few change-ups on that CT side. Shazam does get spotted, but able to get away with his life. Doesn't take the shot.
Pretty close to getting domed, but... Oh, it's going to be a boost up. That nade coming out into that B bomb site, and now they might be walking straight into a crossfire as well. Ethan's got so much work to do right now, as Ye's already managed to make his way close mid. It's been some frantic trading back and forth, but at the end of the day, the B site is going to be open, and NRG are going to be dedicating their efforts over there instead.
Yeah, what a crazy round. Neither of the AWPs able to do anything this time for complexity, and when you do have the double AWP, you really want them to be getting work done early in the rounds. Ethan in a pretty tough spot there, really. Not a whole lot you can do against the AWP like that. But it's still not going to be enough for complexity to really attempt the retake. They'll still be left wanting another round, and it's just a reset to the economy as well.
I think they'll probably force up behind it because they can afford to take a double eco, but... I mean, I've always been an advocate of saving for as many buy rounds as you can, but you can also see the flip side. You got a double AWP, you might as well buy pistols on the back of the other players, SMGs. You can definitely fight it out here. You could also get some utility in Shazam as well as depth. Shazam can drop a FAMAS over if one of the boys chooses to use an inferior rifle.
It'll be a serviceable round, at least, for complexity.
I mean, for NRG, they've got a double AWP, so I don't know what to make of that. Fugly is just watching B main with that AWP to make sure no one's pushing forward, I guess.
NRG can force the eco here. They'll put them up to 15-14. 1-for-1 from Ye. Not too bad considering that he did only have the CZ, but it's a player lost on the CT side, which is definitely tough.
To be fair, it does grant them some early information as Def is going to cop a shot. 94 damage from that AWP and Fugly. Gets them a lot of information in the fact they take down Cirque. A, is that now it looks like someone else has to pick up the AWP or they have to chuck it back. And B, the squeaky player was also spamming through, so... Now though, no noise being made means the situation is reset. complexity weren't making any other moves on the back of that, and it looks like it's going to be a slow A site attack from 3A main, 1 squeaky.
Shazam not going to chance the timing shot through. Stannis saw the other player with a weapon on this site, but it's Shazam that will need to be the impact player. So far, he has been 2 kills now from that AWP. Suddenly looks doable for complexity as Shazam steps up. Stanislaw with the FAMAS checks out, spots the player at quad box, knows there's another player coming from default. So, position of both of these 2 T players should be more or less known, and it's a matter of time for complexity to walk in here and make this retake work. Android charges on forward, does go down. Fugly trying to hold off from quad box. Stanislaw waits for Def, lets Def get the job done, and that will be that. Complexity will close the map out. It's going to be 16-12 in their favor. And NRG not managed to get that 2-0 tonight, but complexity at least will end their night with a win. It could have been a very, very tough night for them going down 0-4, but not the case. So they get those 3 points on the board, and that's at least a nice finish to the night.
Like you're saying at the end, it's at least something to work off, a little bit of happiness at the end. I mean, it wasn't the best day. I mean, everyone wants to go 4-0 at the end of the day, right?
Yeah.
But at least taking Cache pretty comprehensively in my mind. They played as a better team individually. I don't think that we had as many standouts as we did, say, for example, Ethan or Cirque. But it doesn't matter how many kills you have, right? It's the amount of rounds that your team has. And that's what complexity had.
Yeah, it felt like a fairly slow map. I thought both teams on their T side were playing that one out pretty slow, not necessarily doing too much too crazy early on in the round. It was not as firepower heavy, I don't think, necessarily as our Renegades versus Complexity match either, where a lot of the rounds were dictated by players stepping up and getting 3 or 4Ks. This was a little bit more standard, played out a little bit more normally. But in the end, obviously Complexity having enough there on Cache had to happen eventually on one of these maps. I guess unfortunate result for NRG. They would have obviously liked to start with that 2-0 or finish the night with the 2-0. Just based on the fact that when you look at these 2 teams, you do think NRG probably should be the favoured team of the 2. But in the end, like we've seen, obviously, of late, Complexity have had really, really good form. So they're on a bit of a meteoric rise, and how high they are going to be able to go or how long they're going to be able to stay there. I think that really is going to be dictated a lot by how this season does play out for them. And then, you know, if they get to the season finals, what they can do there in Odense.
I think what's going to help for complexity is just becoming more consistent over time, because you can't really, like, the problems with complexity for now is they're not very consistent in terms of their gameplay. The firepower isn't always there. We see Ye, he had a huge Dust 2 game, but coming into Cache, he was pretty missing in this one, let's be realistic. He looked like he was whiffing a couple of easy shots that he would have hit on Dust 2, etc., etc. Stanislaw always with the impact kills. That's what I look for in terms of consistency, right? Is that you look at Stanislaw playing on that CT side, you always feel like, look, he's not fragging it like an Ethan or a Cirque or maybe not even like an Android, but he's doing his job. Rounds where he needs to go big, he goes big. And this is something Complexity will be learning as time goes by. It's like Shazam, for example. It's the rounds where they really need the AWP to have impact, he has impact.
Yeah, most definitely. So overall, Complexity must be happy, I suppose. You know, you can't expect too much more. They did have tough opponents today. You've got Renegades out of the way. Like you say, tough opponents is kind of, we're not sure yet. Obviously, NRG, we have a bit of a better idea. But for Renegades, I do expect that roster shouldn't necessarily be any worse than what the old former roster was. I think it may be even a little bit more consistent than the former Renegades roster. We have to wait and see how that is going to play out. But I do think today, for Complexity, 2 tough opponents out of the way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, there's still going to be a lot of road challenges up ahead for them, but I feel like compLexity as well as NRG more than comfortable to go take them on. 1-3 starts to the season. Look, not the worst. It's not the end of the world. It's not the apocalypse, but they definitely want to be doing better next time.
Yeah, definitely, and time for them to jump back in on ESEA and plug it up a little bit, maybe check that firepower out, get that all sorted for the next week of ESL Pro League or their next match. I'm not sure when exactly that is going to be, but yeah, a little bit of time for them to figure themselves out, have a look back on those VODs and see what went wrong today, what went right today, and how things can play out differently. But that is going to be the end of our second match for today. We still have one more, so don't go anywhere, guys. One more match coming up after the break.